Is there any? I don't know. Man, I'm new to this universe, and so the language is going to be limiting. But is there brand limitations that y'all have boxed yourselves into?
Brand limitations.
Yeah, it's weird. I was at
It's like Dave Ramsey getting a credit card. He can't.
Oh,
right?
right.
He can't lease a car.
Sure. The credit card thing is because that's a limitation he set up for himself, right?
Correct.
And if his values were to change around that, and he could find a way to articulate that, I don't think it ever would. It doesn't make sense for that. I mean, it's an absurd example. I'll give you an example though. Ryan and I, we needed new computers recently, so Ryan ordered it from the Apple store. The one that was close to my house is in like this giant shopping mall. And I get anxiety going into shopping malls, but I go in there, and of course, 7 people run across me. What is the minimalist guy doing in the shopping mall, right? And it's like, oh, I'm just buying something, product from a major corporation. And so in a way, it keeps me in check as well, because it doesn't, at first, it's like, well, I do care what someone else thinks about me. That's a self-esteem issue, right? But really, it's like, okay, are my actions still aligned with my values? Because even though Ryan and I are radically different in terms of personality, or we're different on the Enneagram, we're different on the Myers-Briggs test, like exact opposites on Myers-Briggs, but we have the same values. We just have different paths by which to get to those values.
Dave and I talk about that a lot. We have very different beliefs, but we have very similar values.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's why I love reading. That's why I love hanging out with cool, interesting people, because my goal is to change my beliefs often as I grow up. Right, get new information, learn new things, but I want to keep us tethered to true values.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like you're scared of accountability, and we live in a culture that is terrified of.
Oh yeah.
Like, accountability becomes judgment, and it becomes oppressive. I personally need accountability because I've proven to myself over time I can't always walk through life by myself.
Why do we have problems with it, do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Scared to be called out.
There's shame. There may be a shame component.
Yeah. Well, I think we could probably do a whole show on that. I think our wiring is. I even use machine metaphors, but we are co-regulated with other people to know where we are in relationship with other people. And I think when someone holds us accountable, instead of choosing to hear that as a way to bring us closer together, it's weaponized.
See, I've already accepted the fact that I'm a hypocrite.
Okay.
I mean, we're all hypocrites.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just what level of hypocrite are you?
Okay.
I hate slave labor.
Yeah.
But I sure love my smartphone. I don't love it, but I really enjoy it. I use it. My laptop, I mean, like, I really care about the environment. But man, there's a lot of cobalt that's in my life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a little bit of what do they call it? Cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
That we all have to live with. So yeah,
as we bend the arc towards what does it look like, right?
Yeah. And then if someone calls me out on something, I can look in the mirror and say, is there a valid point here? Or is this person just being a seagull? And so there's a difference between criticism and feedback. Criticism, it's called the seagull effect. Someone flies in, they like crap on what you do, and then they fly away.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, thanks. And then feedback is like, it's the problem presented with a solution. And so if I can differentiate from those two, if someone's trying to hold me accountable, I can, look at it like, is this just criticism or is this feedback? And is it something I legitimately need to look at?
You'll have to get bombarded.
Oh, dude.
With people deciding their version of whatever their thing is. And how do you keep your guys insulated? How do y'all stay insulated from that?
Well, I don't read the comments.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, it goes back to that should thing, right? We've moralized everything in our culture, and I believe in morality, but when it's like, hey, you should go to college, or you should own a home at this age, or you should do this, you shouldn't do, you should eat that, you shouldn't do that, and it's like, well, wait a minute. These things, right and wrong, in most of these instances, they're highly individual, right? Because it's about preferences, it's about our own values, and if you have different values from me, then your shoulds are going to be different than mine. And so there are no universal shoulds in most of these things that we're talking about. And so, yeah, if someone else is sort of heaping their own values onto me, I think at this point it's fairly easy to dismiss that.
Yeah. The people who love you, let me say it this way: who have you given permission to speak into, hold you accountable?
Oh, I will let anyone hold me accountable again.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't. I don't. There's no one I wouldn't like just listen to. Like if they came to me, they're like, Ryan, so family or friends, like social media is a different world.
Yeah.
But like family and friends, I mean, anyone can come to me and say they have a problem with something, and I have. Man, I'll tell you, when you call yourselves the minimalists, you find out very quickly who your real friends are. It was really crazy because you have all this judgment. You're not a minimalist, Ryan. You snowboard. I mean, just like all this stuff coming my way. So but
Because you snowboard, those are exactly the same thing.
and I don't know what has given me this mechanism to just hold space for other people's judgments. But the first couple years we did this, it was very difficult. Like it was, I guess I've just developed thick skin over the last, 8-9 years to where, I don't let it ruin my day anymore.
Criticism only hurts if the praise feels good, though.
Ooh.
And so
Say that again.
if you need the praise, then the criticism will hurt more.
Okay.
If you don't need the praise, then then you don't care about.
Then it's just
the criticism.
information. Then
It is, right. And so then it's less about the accountability thing. In terms of accountability, I often think of the people I seek out. Like we have some great people on our team. You met Podcast Sean and Jordan
So great,
today.
yeah.
We got Jess, and we got some new folks who are starting this month. And so we've got a nice core team, and seeking some sort of accountability from them or feedback is a way to keep myself accountable as well. I may not always agree with them, and that's okay, but I can at least see their perspective.
So from using the minimalist ethos here, I had a season where I took everybody's. If you had an opinion, I was willing to hear it, and if you had a reflection for me, I was okay. Let's take it. And especially when I was working in university, it was every student's parent, every cultural, everybody had an opinion about how I was doing my job, and I tried to take them all. And it came, ultimately, I had to say, well, I've got to pare this down to, there's about 5 or about 6 people who I'm going to give permission to hurt me. I'm going to give 5 or 6 people permission to have access to my heart. And those are, I'll take your criticism. I'll take your, hey, you need to do this better. You're not very good on this show. You need to help. You should have done it like that. I'll take that all day. But a moral or character judgment, hey, you're not being the person that you said you want to be. I'm going to take that for fewer people. And it sounds like you seek that out. Like we've got a team that y'all hire intentionally, or you surround yourself with. Say, we're going to listen to them.
I think when your actions are in alignment with your values, like for me, I don't like nothing. I can look in the mirror, like no matter what anyone says, I can look in the mirror and be like, dude, I really like you.
Yeah, that to me is that's it, right?
Yeah.
So if you can look in the mirror and say, I like you.
And if anyone can help me like myself better, then I'm all ears.
Yes.
But
Beautiful.
Anything else that comes my way, it's just like, I've worked so hard over these last 10 years to like really, I'm not perfect, man, but like my short-term actions align with those long-term values. And the more you do that, the more you like yourself, the less the criticism bothers you, really.
Because you're just untethered to it, right?
Yeah.
I realize that your opinion doesn't matter. I mean, you specifically, but also anyone.
Correct.
And that's the thing. Like, what matters is the truth, right? And so, well, that's really ultimately what I'm trying to get to. I don't want to bang my opinion up against yours, and then we're arguing over aesthetics or something that is on the edges of what is the truth. But if we can get beyond the opinion, right, and beyond sides, it's one of the most dangerous things we have now. We've created these sort of bifurcated sides, and it's you versus me. We're otherizing other people, and I prefer community. Community unites around something. Tribes unite against something. And so I'd rather have a community of people who unite around doing some meaningful work.
That's actually why we same side of the booth this entire thing, just to show how unified we are.
That's right.